The Cowboys are finally back in Oxnard, and the excitement around training camp is already overflowing. But this time, it's not about contracts or front office noise. This is about football. Pure football. From the first whistle, it was clear the Cowboys came into camp with a different energy. And one of the biggest surprises? KaVontae Turpin lining up not just as a gadget guy, but taking real backfield snaps as a runner. No jet sweeps. No smoke and mirrors. Just lining up and running the ball. And that's a significant shift. Last year, we saw hints of this in camp, but the Cowboys waited far too long to bring it to life during the season. Maybe this time, under Brian Schottenheimer's direction, it sticks. Turpin only had 16 carries last year and 31 receptions, but there's clearly an effort underway to expand his role. Still, it's hard to ignore the physical limitations he's listed at 153 pounds. For comparison, even Deuce Vaughn is heavier, despite being shorter. Turpin may not be able to carry a full-time load, but that doesn't mean he can't be impactful. Think of it like the Tavon Austin role, under Sean McVay, limited but explosive. Give him a handful of touches each week, let him return kicks, and you suddenly inject real speed into an offense that isn't exactly overflowing with it. But as always with Dallas, the question is, will they actually follow through? Then there's the broader picture in the backfield. So far, it's been Javonte Williams and Miles Sanders handling the majority of first-team reps. Those two backs have been rotating in and out, showing flashes of why Dallas brought them in. Behind them, Deuce Vaughn and Jaden Blue are getting second-team looks, and Blue in particular has had a few good moments. But let's pump the brakes just a bit. These backs aren't in pads yet. It's impossible to evaluate real running back performance without contact. On one hand, you get Blue making a nice cut and outrunning defenders, but on the replay, you see that the right guard got smoked and it would have been a loss in a real game. These big plays right now are misleading. They're fast guys running in space without defenders able to finish tackles. Still, the depth chart order is worth noting, and when the pads come on, we'll get a better picture. Until then, it's just camp flashes. Still, it's fun to dream. Do you believe in the idea of Dallas becoming a ground and pound team again? Because if they really want to take pressure off Doc and maximize this new offense, it starts with a consistent, efficient running game. And speaking of the new offense, there's real intrigue around what Brian Schottenheimer is installing. The early themes? Motion, under center work, tighter formations. It's a modernized version of what McCarthy hinted at last year, but never fully delivered on. Vogt Lombardi noted that nearly 90% of the plays in practice had some kind of motion on day one. That's not fluff, that's intent. Motion with purpose slows down defenders, reveals coverages, and creates better matchups. Tighter splits help disguise run or pass, and under-center looks allow you to better marry your run and play action concepts. Schottenheimer even hinted at the possibility of wildcat packages and pistol formations, which adds yet another wrinkle. But again, this all sounds good in July. We've been teased by motion-heavy schemes before. Kellen Moore used it for a few games and then abandoned it. McCarthy made promises and then dialed it back mid-season. This time, it has to stick. You can't just talk about making things easier on Doc and then run into a wall for 2 yards on first down. You want to help your quarterback? You need a scheme that's cohesive, deceptive, and effective. The bones of that offense might finally be forming, but we won't know until we see it under real pressure. Camp hype is fun. Execution in November is what matters. And what's starting to become clear through these first few days in Oxnard is that Doc Prescott is stepping into this new system with a sense of ownership and command we haven't consistently seen before. There's a new level of urgency in his movements, in his cadence, and in the way he's interacting with receivers between reps. This isn't just Dake going through the motions. This is Doc setting the tempo. You can tell he's working with something to prove he's heard the noise. He knows the pressure, and he's treating every rep like it's week one. The difference now is that he's not being asked to be a superhero on every down. Schottenheimer's emphasis on play action, movement, and balance is giving Prescott a framework to thrive without constantly being put in third and long situations. Even in early drills, the timing with CeeDee Lamb looks razor sharp. Brandon Cooks has been crisp, and the chemistry with rookie Ryan Flournoy is building fast. It feels like a quarterback not just reacting to a system, but helping lead its evolution in real time. But it's not all smooth sailing. The offensive line remains a giant question mark, especially at left tackle. Tyler Guyton, the Cowboys' first-round rookie, is getting a crash course in NFL edge rushers. He's been tasked with protecting Doc's blind side, and while the athleticism is obvious, the technique is still raw. Micah Parsons has been feasting in early practices, blowing past Guyton with alarming ease and using every trick in the book to expose the rookie's lack of polish. It's to be expected this early, but it's also a warning shot. If the Cowboys are serious about protecting Prescott and getting back to a power run identity, they need their left tackle situation to stabilize quickly. Behind Guyton, there's little proven depth, and Terrence Smith isn't walking through that door. That means Joe Philbin and the offensive staff have their hands full trying to coach up a group that has talent, but not experience. Every year in Dallas, it seems the offensive line is either elite or a liability. There's no middle ground. And this camp will go a long way toward determining which version shows up in 2025. Meanwhile, on the defensive side of the ball, Dan Quinn may be gone, but the standard he set hasn't disappeared. In fact, Mike Zimmer is taking that foundation and adding his own flavor, more disguise, more complexity, more emphasis on confusion. One of the biggest standouts so far has been linebacker Damone Clark. He's taken on a leadership role with Leighton Vander Esch now retired, and he looks faster, more decisive, and more vocal than ever. Clark is flying around in drills, calling out pre-snap alignments, and looking like the guy this defense can rally around. Another quiet riser? Cornerback Nahshon Wright, who's had a string of strong reps against the second-team receivers. But the real highlight remains Micah Parsons. He's not just dominating one-on-ones, he's shifting all over the formation. At times, he's lined up on the edge, then over the center, then dropped into coverage. Zimmer's clearly designing this defense around maximizing Micah's chaos potential, and if early signs hold, this could be Parsons' Defensive Player of the Year campaign. The defense doesn't just want to be good this year. They want to carry this team to wins. And if the offense can even meet them halfway, Dallas might finally have a complete squad again.